12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBC super welterweight championship of the world. Here are your three judges at ringside. Scoring the bout, Glenn Crocker, Jürgen Lagos, and Oren Schellenberger. In charge of the action at the bell, referee Lawrence Cole. Let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, standing with head trainer Roberto Garcia, wearing black with red, officially weighing 150 pounds. His professional record, 38 victories, including 27 knockouts, with 6 defeats. From Tijuana, Baja California Norte, Mexico, the three-time champion of the world, El Tornado de Tijuana, Antonio Margarito. And fighting out of the red corner, standing with head trainer Freddie Roach, wearing white with gold, official weight 144 1/2 pounds. Professional record 51 victories, including 38 knockouts, with 3 defeats and 2 bouts even. From Sarangani Province, Philippines, the 7-time champion of the world, MANNY.
Been a tumultuous evening in Cowboy Stadium. Prior to the fight, Antonio Margarito's hand-wrapping exercise was, because of his recent history, carefully observed, probably the most carefully watched hand wrap ever, and of course Pacquiao's hand wrap was so observed. But during the same period of time, members of Pacquiao's camp believed they saw Antonio Margarito either drinking coffee or taking an ephedra-based substance in the dressing room. They protested to the Texas State Athletic Commission. The Athletic Commission had to bring the 2 trainers together. There were fierce and heated words on both sides. Eventually, it was determined that a drug test after the fight will have to be the measure of whether Margarito has taken a banned substance, and Pacquiao, for his part, gave no indication that he ever considered not entering the ring to fight. So here they are.
And Margarito starting with a decent jab.
Something surely he has worked on in training. The question there, of course, becomes how long does it last? Pacquiao trying to get inside and go to the body. And Emmanuel Stewart, must Pacquiao fight a pressure fight?
Right now, Manny cannot. I see the size difference. It's a big factor right now. I see he's punching. He's not used to punching at a man as big as this man is, who seems to be absorbing his blows pretty easy.
Punching up at an angle robs you of power, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So he has a better chance to affect Margarito with his normal power if Margarito hunches over and brings himself down to him a little bit.
What I'm surprised about is Margarito's jab, which is a very good move. And that seems to be at this stage, the most dominant punch in the fight has been his left jab.
And the last thing people expected to see was Antonio Margarito standing in the middle of the ring and boxing with Manny Pacquiao. But that's what's happened so far. There's a left hand over the top for Manny that brings the crowd to life for him.
Manny needs to try to catch Margarito when he's jabbing with a little left step back and shoot the straight left right through the center. But other than that, he may have a problem tonight. I see the physical side seems to be a big factor.
What about going to Margarito's body and trying to bring Margarito's arms and head down?
Well, one thing, Manny makes adjustments as the fight goes on very well. And if you notice, after most fights when we interview him, he tells you how I was smart, I played it a little safe, I made adjustments. He's a very intelligent fighter.
Margarito has thrown almost exclusively jabs in the first round. That goes against the scouting report. Pacquiao with a good right-left combination upstairs. Margarito's grinning at him as twice Pacquiao fired the left right up the gut and landed it on Margarito's face.
Margarito has shown a good jab, especially early in the round, but Pacquiao's dominated this round with a right hook, with a straight left hand to the body.
Well, he's won maybe the round, but I don't think he's dominated. I see a lot of effectiveness with the jabs of Margarito still. I gave the round slightly to Pacquiao because he landed some pretty clean punches, but the left jab seems to be becoming more of a factor as the fight goes on from Margarito. But I thought Pacquiao landed enough clean shots inside to slightly win the round.
Margarito has been a notoriously slow starter through much of his career. A 53 punch output for Antonio Margarito in round 1 seems very low. but he has had trouble getting rolling in the early parts of some of his fights, notably the Paul Williams fight. Margarito still content to stand in the middle of the ring and box with Manny Pacquiao, has not tried to drive him to the ropes. The referee is Lawrence Cole. He's the son of Texas State Commission head Dickie Cole, and you usually see him at major fights here in Texas.
You know, early in the Clottey fight, Pacquiao was also hit a bit more than we're used to seeing hit in recent fights.
Yeah,
and here Margarito has landed not only some shots, he landed a headbutt followed by a right hand. These are hard shots from a big man.
And the size has been a big factor in this fight, as I see right here.
But speed belongs to Pacquiao, and so he rallies back there. Still, the loss of power from punching up could be a factor in the fight. Pacquiao beginning to focus a little more to the body, I think. That would probably be a good idea.
I still see the same facial expression that Margarito had when he fought Cotto.
I mean, you're not supposed to be on the ropes against Margarito, and there he is on the ropes, Emmanuel.
Well, I say the size, I keep saying size, but I just see that being a big factor in this fight right now, the way it's going.
That was the first time that Pacquiao found his body against the ropes. And if there was one thing Freddie Roach harped on throughout training, it was, don't put your back on the ropes. Never.
Looks like Pacquiao is determined not to be bullied by the bigger guy and is foregoing some defense and a little bit more in the mode that we saw him as a lighter fighter when he would go toe-to-toe more with some of the great Mexican fighters that he beat south of lightweight.
Good left hook inside by, or left cross inside by Pacquiao. He lands the right hook too as Margarito steps in. Margarito has been landing his jab. Pacquiao is landing power shots when he gets close. Uppercuts for Margarito, his favorite punch. He landed both the left and the right hand uppercut there.
This is why when you asked me, did Margarito have a chance, I said yes, mainly a lot because of the size factor. And Pacquiao, I'm looking at the eyes, Pacquiao is much more uncomfortable than Margarito is at this stage, even though he may be winning the fight.
Brand new experience for Pacquiao, of course, fighting a man this big. Delectable experience, perhaps, for Margarito, fighting a man this small.
When I was giving you the keys to victory earlier, I said Margarito didn't work left uppercuts or right uppercuts through the middle, because in the past it's shown that Pacquiao is very vulnerable for punches up through the center.
You heard Freddie Roach saying to Pacquiao, it's too early to start trying to bang this guy around. You need to soften him up a little more.
It's been a long time since Manny Pacquiao looked vulnerable, and he's looked a little vulnerable here early.
Pacquiao pressing the speed advantage. Margarito still fighting for him, an unfamiliar fight in the middle of the ring, boxing with his hands up, doing reasonably well at it. Part of the book on the fight was Margarito's not a jabber, doesn't have the kind of jab that will bother Pacquiao. First 3 rounds, Margarito's jab is bothering Pacquiao. Good straight left hand by Pacquiao. Brought it around Margarito's glove and landed flush. Another one. Little right hook inside for Pacquiao. Despite the vaunted Pacquiao power, none of these punches seem to be really bothering Margarito. They're just landing. Good right hook inside by Pacquiao, landed on the chin. Pacquiao flirts with the corner there, then moves away. Now his back is against the ropes. Margarito tries to press the action. Pacquiao hits him flush with a big left hand, and then flurries and backs Margarito off again. Pacquiao using the hand speed advantage to get Margarito off of it.
It does look like, Emmanuel, that Manny Pacquiao has figured out something in Margarito in the last minute or so.
Yeah, the one thing he's got to do is punch in flurries and get in and out. Just trying to force a knockout is not going to happen. He's got to eventually catch him with a clean shot. But in the meantime, I still see that the weight difference on Margarito is pushing through and forcing Manny to back. And it's a difference in moving side to side, but he's pushing him straight back.
Good right hand shot by Margarito around Pacquiao's guard. I think one thing Pacquiao's discovered in this round is that Margarito's gloves are split, and he can throw his left hand straight up the middle.
Here you see Pacquiao land beautiful punches, even with his defense up. Margarito still was getting good punches because of the accurate pinpoint punching power. Pacquiao, but also you notice at the end of
the box numbers, that was a very good round for Manny. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3-0, 30-27, Manny Pacquiao. Jim, I love the guy's power punching. I mean, you know, really, he's winning this fight on clean, effective punching. Now, he shows great ring generalship. Don't take it away from him. He throws the right, then he throws the left, then he steps to the side. So when Margarito comes out of the show, he don't hit him because the guy ain't there. You know, that's good ring generalship. Pacquiao does it all the time. 3-0, Pacquiao.
I gotta say, I agree with Harold, guys. I see this as a wide fight for Pacquiao. I think Margarito's doing well in spots and rounds, but I haven't seen a round I thought, oh, maybe Margarito won.
No, I give all 3 rounds to Pacquiao also. I think he's winning, but he's got to be prepared to, it maybe have to go the distance in case he gets a knockout fan. But, you know, even though he's landing and winning the fight, he's got to be, I hope he's in great shape.
I think you're looking at 12 rounds of nervous jeopardy, but he might win every round.
What we see
On the other hand, Margarito is telling his corner and has told them several times, according to interpreter Jerry Olaya, he has no power, he can't hurt me. Talking about Pacquiao. Now, the marks begin to show on Margarito's face as he has a big red welt under his right eye. So Pacquiao can do that.
Yeah, Margarito's saying that Pacquiao's not hurting him, but his face is telling a different story.
Indeed. And Pacquiao's beginning to land with almost every punch.
The difference here between Pacquiao and Mosley, who manhandled Margarito, is Pacquiao may be younger and better and faster than Mosley, but he's not as physically strong and has to do this rather than just bully Margarito around the ring.
But he's beating Margarito up in this round. There's a huge welt under Margarito's right eye. He's backing Margarito up, and he's hurting him. And Margarito can say all he wants that Pacquiao can't hurt him, but that's not true.
Pacquiao hurt him with a body punch, I think, and everybody took all of the starch out of him.
Margarito misses wildly with a right to the body. Pacquiao is fully in control now. Hand speed slices you up. That's what's happening now.
And Pacquiao, no matter how small he is relative to his opponent, has never stopped punching like he means it.
No, but what makes him different from a lot of today's fighters, he punches through his opponents. Most of the fighters today, they punch at the target. Very seldom do they penetrate.
Otherwise, totally dominant round.
Margarito slowed down tremendously this round, even though he wasn't doing too much and he was losing. But it seemed like that one body punch took everything out of him.
Among all the experts' comments coming into the fight, one of the ones I found most interesting was from Joshua Clottey, who landed 43 of 62 power shots, demonstrating what a lot of people said coming into the fight, that Margarito is a big but easy target. CompuBox tells us that Manny's output in round 4 represents the largest number of punches ever landed on Antonio Margarito in a single round.
And you know, Pacquiao punches very accurate too. He doesn't just waste punches, his punches are very accurate.
I think he's the most accurate puncher in boxing, Emmanuel. He even has the ability to adjust the punch in mid-arc.
Yeah.
Margarito going to the body against the ropes. That was the first moment that Margarito actually made it look for a moment like his fight against Cotto. And here comes Pacquiao.
As always.
He loves to answer back.
Yes.
Incidentally, guys, I mentioned CompuBox saying that Pacquiao just landed the most punches ever landed on Antonio Margarito in a single round. This despite the fact that Margarito went 12 rounds with extreme volume puncher Paul Williams, who fought a great fight against him.
Well, Pacquiao's hitting him harder.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he jolted Margarito with a left hand there. Jolts him with a right hook there.
Pacquiao's fighting spirit is something to behold. He loves fighting.
And you know, he always wants to get the better of an exchange. That's why it's hard to win rounds against him, because if you get him with a punch, he's going to get you back before the bell rings. And look at the different angles that the punches are coming from.
When Pacquiao's trainer Freddie Roach was asked about the huge weight advantage that was likely here for Margarito, he said, look, I hope he goes up to 180.
Pacquiao takes his little breathers by the ropes, and Margarito takes advantage.
But he didn't have a lot of snap on his punches, did he?
That's right. Margarito doesn't have much punching power at all at this stage.
He has had something taken out of him again, Emmanuel. The body shots.
That one shot to the body seemed to have changed the fight tremendously. Not that Margarito was winning, but at least he was fighting with better spirit and better speed. But that one shot, everything seemed to sap out of him for a moment.
Well, of course, since Manny's a southpaw, it wasn't a left hook to the body, it's a left cross. But the bottom
Margarito staggered.
lands in the same place. Straight left-hand shots for Pacquiao, staggering Margarito momentarily there. Big right hook. Great shot. The eye out of which Margarito has to try to track Manny Pacquiao's lightning left hand. Maybe the fastest punch in boxing.
You know what, and not just speed, but he punches with power. Most of the guys that have speed, they don't have power.
Pacquiao in the fifth, or Pacquiao through the first 5 rounds, averaging 33 out of 81. Margarito averaging 18 out of 63. 63 punches average per round for Antonio Margarito, who at the height of his career a few years ago was averaging 100 punches per round. Your punch output gets limited when you start fighting in a brand new style as he's doing tonight, and when you start to get hit hard by somebody like Manny Pacquiao. Look at Pacquiao move from side to side.
This is what I said he should do continuous.
Creating angles?
Creating angles, yeah, because
there's no way Margarito can find him.
No.
No way Margarito finds him when he does that. Just too much side to side.
Pacquiao was moving to his left to start the round to try to move into Margarito's eye where Margarito couldn't see him. That didn't work, so he started moving right and beat him up that way.
In the offseason last year, Chicago Bears cornerback Charles Tillman made a pilgrimage to Las Vegas to watch Manny Pacquiao fight against Miguel Cotto. Afterward, I asked him what was most impressive. He said, easy, the footwork. I've never seen any athlete in any sport.
Very few people realize that his footwork is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what Tillman said. I've never seen an athlete in any sport who can get to so many places so fast.
And have punching power. A lot of guys move, but it's strictly footwork. He can move and punch from many of those angles or balanced positions that he's in.
Margarito having a better round this one than the last couple. Still losing by a wide margin, obviously, but actually landing some punches in exchange.
Well, Manny's taking something of a breather this round, it appears to me.
But he's winning the round still, I think, Manny. I've given Manny every round of the fight so far. Some bigger than others, but he's winning all of them.
Now Margarito catches Pacquiao twice against the ropes, and Manny finally is able to dodge away. But this gives Margarito energy, this gives him will and confidence. Suddenly he's back in the fight as he's tasted for a moment the advantage of having Pacquiao against the ropes. This is Pacquiao's nightmare, locked in a trap against a much bigger man. Fights his way out of it.
Here you see against the ropes, the best exchange of the night that favored Margarito right here when he was landing a lot of blows and Manny was trying to get away from him, but he was landing shots body and head. But at the end of the...
Now round 7 begins, to more than halfway through the fight. Harold Letterman, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim, I got it 6-0, 60-54, Manny Pacquiao. I got to tell you, as close as that 6th round was, Manny Pacquiao still landed the cleaner, hardest shots. I thought he pulled it out in the end. Be as it may, Manny circling back and forth, bobbing and weaving, getting on the Margarito shots, and landed tremendous shots of his own. And Jim, the one thing we can't measure is the amount of pain that Margarito feels every time he gets hit on that swollen eye. I mean, he really must be hurting. 6-0, Pacquiao.
I agree with Harold. I thought Pacquiao won every round, including the last one. And Jim...
But you got those rounds that is called comparative rounds. I thought Manny won it, but I think that on the scorecard, Margarito may get it because it compared to the other rounds.
Yep.
But he really didn't win it, but a lot of judges do that just to keep him in the fight, so to say.
Jim, you mentioned that it's Pacquiao's nightmare. I think Pacquiao loves it. It might be Freddie Roach's nightmare to get trapped in that fight, but I think Pacquiao loves a good scrap like the last round.
I think you're correct. I think it's Freddie Roach's nightmare. I think it might be Bob Arum's nightmare. But the bottom line is, you're right. Manny loves to fight.
Loves to fight.
Loves the challenge.
Well, this is a dazzling display of boxing skill, power, everything. Ring generalship here. Unbelievable.
So, in a historical sense, and obviously the fight's not over, but How good is he, Emmanuel?
I think he's one of the best fighters I've ever saw, and he's what we call a natural. Been getting with a good trainer that really improved him like Freddie did and brought the best out of him, but he is a natural fighter.
Well, I'll say this. I've covered boxing for 24 years, and I covered Ray Leonard from ringside, and this is the best offensive fighter I've ever seen.
He does it all and fights everybody. That's what I like about him. He's really enjoying himself here. See him try to do the kind of ollie shuffle a few seconds ago.
See what's kept Margarito up in this fight is his enormous size.
The size. The only thing, Jim, before the fight you said you could see it possibly going to 12-round decision only because of Margarito's size.
Yep. That's
the only factor, but it's strictly a Pacquiao show.
No, if I had a prediction, it was going to be that Pacquiao would win all 12 rounds, win a unanimous decision, and there'd be a lot of nervous moments in it.
Yes.
I thought Pacquiao would stop Margarito right around the 6th or 7th round. And
you may be on target.
Or you may be, because Margarito seems to be weathering these storms pretty well in spite of the way his face looks.
Margarito's hanging in, and he's having more flurries as the fight continues, but Pacquiao just stunned him with a right hook and backed him off again.
Here you see Manny Pacquiao landing all of these precise punches, even with a guards up high defense. He still pinpoints areas where he can get through and penetrate. But to me, the perfect fight is the way he fought the last round, punching, moving in and out, taking advantage of that great natural coordination.
45 of 104, his high output for the fight. Margarito, 31 out of 71, his best round of the fight, landing at 44%. Harold Letterman has still given every round in the fight so far to Manny Pacquiao. And incidentally, I'll alter my prediction, guys. If Margarito throws an uppercut from too far away, Pacquiao might counter him and knock him out.
That replay that we just showed was a 6-punch combination where every punch landed from Pacquiao in the middle of the ring.
And look at the fact that Margarito had his defense up all that time, and he penetrated to defense. Is amazing.
There was a time in the middle of his career when Manny Pacquiao was a terrific, world-class, one-handed fighter. Margarito banging him against the ropes here, trying to get to Pacquiao's body. That could change the fight. Pacquiao fighting back with his back on the ropes.
And here comes
And he
Manny.
turns it around and bangs Margarito viciously. Left cross straight on the bad eye. And another one. Right on that badly bruised right eye of Margarito. Pacquiao hits him again with the left. Margarito nods at him. Pacquiao hits him at will. Bang!
Know who else likes to fight? Know who else likes to fight? Margarito.
Absolutely.
You know, I've trained in the gym with Margarito, and he trains going 15 and 16 rounds. That's because he wins his fights on stamina. So even though he's tired and being beat up pretty much, he trains himself to fight this way. So he's still going to be fighting very strong going down the stretch in this fight. Because that's his biggest factor, is fighting while he's tired.
And he's blocking some of the punches, taking some. He took a big left hook there. Remember, Pacquiao is taking full shots from a 165-pound man who outweighs him 17 pounds in the ring tonight.
And speaking of redemption for Margarito, so far this has been a measure of redemption because he's never stopped fighting his fight in spite of a frightful beating. And he's had success fighting in spots the way we used to see him knock out good opponents.
But he's not breaking Manny Pacquiao up the way he did Miguel Cotto. Draw your own conclusions.
I talked to Miguel earlier today. Miguel said this is going to be a very tough fight. Because I was telling him I thought that Pacquiao had to edge. He said, man, he may have edge, but it's going to be a hard fight.
What an exchange.
What a fight. I mean, this is a fun fight.
Here you see Pacquiao in the ropes again, which is where every time that Margarito has a good rally, or so to say, it's always when he's got him pinned in the ropes. But usually right after that, always, Manny comes right back with a flurry of punches. But Margarito's best success has been when he's had him in the ropes. And here this left uppercut, which is his weakness, right up through the center.
Landed 35 out of 65. That's sensational. Margarito had a tremendous round, landing 29 out of 55. Again, Harold Letterman continues to give every round to Manny Pacquiao. So I think with the rest of us.
Even when Margarito's having those great moments with Pacquiao's back on the ropes, Pacquiao, even in those moments, is landing almost as much as Margarito, it seems to me.
And gentlemen, CompuBox reports that the 34 punches Margarito landed in that last round are the most anybody's ever landed against Manny Pacquiao in a single round. So now Pacquiao has a new distinction in his career. He took the most punches he's ever taken in one round from a guy who outweighs him 17 pounds. I'm tired.
Yeah, but it's it's a size factor. If it wasn't the fact that Margarito was so big, almost 20 pounds bigger, Manny would have knocked him out sooner. But he's been able to absorb. It's much like when Sugar Ray Robinson fought Joey Maxim at time. He did everything, but the 15-pound weight advantage was too much, and it wore Robinson down.
Remember that when Henry Armstrong went up and tried to win the middleweight championship after having won the featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight championships already, he ran out of gas against a bigger man.
Seferino Garcia, and that wasn't once the case again. It was just too much weight difference.
Well, he got a draw.
Yeah,
Many think he deserves to win.
Yes. But it's just a bigger man can absorb the punches a little better than a smaller guy. But a regular 140-pounder, I think Manny would have knocked out.
There was another left-hand rally by Manny Pacquiao. But showing intelligence and perhaps some fatigue, Pacquiao for the first time in this round has begun to move away simply to create space between himself and Margarito. Call it breathing room.
And smart strategy. He can pretty much do what he wants from long range, even though he's the smaller fighter, Pacquiao.
Another anomaly.
If he's in good shape and he can continue to do this, he'll win the fight fairly easy. But, once he gets in the ropes, Margarito uses his physical strength to rough him up.
It does seem as though Pacquiao's maybe decided that he can't knock Margarito out at this point.
Unless somebody wants to stop the fight because of that right eye, which is grotesque at this point.
And as I said, that Pacquiao landed some great hooks. Knockout-style hooks.
Out.
Here you see Manny Pacquiao do what he does better than any boxer in the game. Let a guy miss, catch him with a punch, let him miss, hit him with a punch again. A lot of guys will let guys miss punches, but they don't take advantage of it the way that he does.
Margarito, you saw in that replay, when he gets hit,
He tests him in the middle of the ring. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I still got it a shutout. 90-81, 9 rounds to nothing. The hard-punching Manny Pacquiao. Jim, he's landing a cleaner, harder shots in every round. He's elusive as all get-out, like Emmanuel's been saying. I mean, he's doing it all right. Beautiful ring generalship, fairly good defense. He's been really aggressive, just fighting the perfect fight. 9-0, Manny Pacquiao.
Someday, boxing fans will look back and have a lot of fun arguing with each other about what was Manny Pacquiao's greatest performance, what was his most impressive feat, what was his biggest night. If this continues the way it does, and he wins all 12 rounds against a guy 17 pounds bigger than himself, touching him up, beating him up, ruining his face the way he is, this will be in the discussion.
well, it's not just that Margarito's 17 pounds bigger, it's that Pacquiao's moved up 40 pounds and then gave away 17 pounds.
Right, he's a former flyweight, beating up one of the biggest welterweights we ever saw.
Yes, and I still don't consider Pacquiao no more than just a lightweight, about 138, 39-pounder.
And incidentally,
Which is amazing.
you've noticed that long beard on Margarito. Freddie Roach wanted to get the Texas State Athletic Commission to make Margarito shave off the beard, which probably they would have done. Pacquiao said, leave it there. I want to use it as a target. That's a fighter.
Unbelievable machine.
He's putting it on Margarito right now.
And the crowd picks up the chant. Manny, Manny, Manny. Boom! Another perfect right hook. What a show. What an amazing performance. Greatest offensive fighter of the era. Tattooing Margarito.
Well, when all of that, the Margarito just mentally and physically fatigued both. And this right hook.
He's ready to go.
That's one of the biggest jabs I've ever seen.
It was a right hook. He didn't see it coming.
That was a right hook from Pacquiao.
Yeah, Pacquiao
stopped Margarito in his tracks.
Perfect fight.
He had another 30 seconds.
He still may stop him. He may get out of this round, but I think it's a good chance that Pacquiao may stop him. Here you see this counter right hook, which is, as I said earlier, one of the best punches that you can land, and he's very good at that. It used to be when he first came here, right uppercut, straight left through the center, complete fighter.
Once he added the right hand to his stunning left cross, that took him to an entirely different stratosphere in offensive fighting. The 10th round was one of the most brutally dominant rounds of Pacquiao's career. He landed 57 of 89 power shots. Margarito threw 23 punches and landed 9. That's why Robert Garcia clearly gave consideration to stopping the fight.
Another measure of redemption for Margarito. Even though he's the villain with the hand wraps, he has a ton of heart. He could have gotten out of this fight a million times. Whenever the ref says, how many fingers am I holding? He wants to keep fighting. He's not just doing it as a show for the referee or for the fans, rather. Look at me, I'm tough. He really wants to win the fight, even though he's hopelessly behind and getting
no head movement at all. The referee, there's no head movement at all.
Pacquiao looking towards the ref, asking him to stop the fight at this point, it looks to me. Landed a shot, looked towards Cole's.
He again looks at Cole.
I think
how much punishment do you want him to take? That's what he's saying to Cole.
But the referee's doing a good job, I think. It's right that you can't stop it yet. Because as long as the guy's punching back. If he was back to the ropes and being hit or something, would be different. But at this stage here, he's being out punched. But the referee has to have a few more seconds before he can stop.
Emmanuel, he's rearranging Margarito's face, and it may never look the same again.
I know, but it's just this is boxing.
It was not Margarito's eye at this moment, it's his brain. How many clean headshots
can one man take?
I mean,
his punches have zero snap. He is waving at Pacquiao.
If the referee stopped, there wouldn't be any complaint, but I just don't think he's going to stop it as Tate goes.
Pacquiao again looks at Lawrence Cole.
It's a solid target. He's not moving his head at all.
This reminds me of Roy Jones against Bryant Brannon. Jones actually asked the referee, when in the heck are you going to stop this fight?
Stop. And then Jones shrugged and knocked Brannon out.
That's exactly right. Who was hammering him similarly to this. Corner asked if they wanted the fight, or if he wanted the fight stopped. He said no. Wanted the fight to the finish. Same thing here, obviously. But it's not doing Margarito any good to take the number of shots he's taking now. Flush on an already 9 of 23 in the 10th. Pacquiao landed 51 of 75 power shots in the last round, meaning he is more or less hitting Margarito at will. One more round to go. When Pacquiao was doing this to Miguel Cotto, Cotto's wife left the arena. You can see that the smile is utterly gone from the face of Margarito's spouse. They've been together since high school. She's never seen him like this. Max, I honestly wonder whether Pacquiao has no more stomach for the punishment. He doesn't seem eager to hit Margarito anymore.
He does look like he's carrying Margarito right now.
It's much like Joe Calzaghe
Some of the greatest fighters in history have done this.
Joe Calzaghe seemingly was doing that with Roy Jones in the later rounds, too.
Absolutely. There's no question Pacquiao's pulling his punches now. He is not following through and committing the way he does most of the time. It's an acknowledgement from Pacquiao that the knockout isn't necessary. To a certain degree, it's a nod to Margarito's guts and courage for coming as far as he has. And Pacquiao is going to let him finish the fight.
You wonder seeing this, as great as Pacquiao is and as dominant as he's been, Margarito's not known as an accurate puncher. You wonder if Floyd Mayweather's watching this thinking, maybe the time is right to fight this guy. For years, Sugar Ray Leonard wouldn't fight Marvin Hagler. Of course, Hagler is much bigger than Leonard. Until he felt the time was right. He noticed Hagler slow down against Duran and Mugabe. Then he took the fight. You wonder if maybe Floyd is waiting for Pacquiao to slow down a little bit. Because to my eye, guys, this Pacquiao's not quite the same as the Pacquiao of maybe a year or two ago. A little easier to hit.
That's hard to say because he's fighting such different guys
bigger
every
guy.
time out, and they're all so big. Now suddenly there's some Manny energy. Looks as though he wants to make sure that he wins the round, make clear who's still dominant, but obviously he's not trying to finish Margarito. This is not Manny Pacquiao the fighter. This is Manny Pacquiao the congressman, Manny Pacquiao the cultural icon, Manny Pacquiao the citizen of the world. That's the man who's letting Margarito finish. Harold Letterman scores it 120 to 108. That's a shutout. If I were scoring, that would have been mine.
Go to the scorecards. Jay Lango scores the bout 120-108. Glenn Crocker 118-110. Orange Schellenberger 119-109. All three to the winner by unanimous decision. And now winner of his 8th World Championship, the fighting pride of Sarangani Province, Philippines, Manny